Inside the royal vaults lie masterpieces worth millions, yet the Princess of Wales refuses to let 3 specific tiaras touch her head. These aren't just fashion choices. They are calculated moves to avoid a haunting legacy of marital ruin and sudden death. Is Catherine protecting the monarchy from a literal royal curse? Today we are looking at all 3, the history behind each one, the gemstones that make them extraordinary, and the very deliberate reasons why the woman who will one day be Queen of England refuses to put them on her head. Let's begin. There are tiaras that carry history, and then there is this one, which carries something closer to a warning. The Hesse Strawberry Leaf Tiara was designed in 1861 by Prince Albert, the consort of Queen Victoria, as a wedding gift for his second daughter, Princess Alice, who was engaged to Prince Louis of Hesse and by Rhine. Prince Albert commissioned the piece through Garrard and Company, the royal jewellers, and it was described at the time as a very beautiful tiara of diamonds, composed of a rich bandeau with foliage, spires. The strawberry leaves of the design rendered entirely in brilliant cut diamonds set in gold. The tragedy began before the wedding even took place. Prince Albert died in December 1861, just months after commissioning the tiara, and never saw his daughter wear it. The wedding itself went ahead in a muted, grief-laden ceremony at Osborne House in July 1862. Queen Victoria gifted the tiara to the couple in her husband's name. It was, from its very first moment, a piece born into mourning. Princess Alice took the tiara to Hesse and wore it throughout her life as Grand Duchess. She and Louis had 7 children. Then, in 1878, a diphtheria epidemic swept through the family. Their youngest daughter, Princess Marie, died first. Alice, who had spent weeks nursing her children through the illness, contracted diphtheria herself. She died on the 14th of December 1878, exactly 17 years to the day after her father, Prince Albert, had died. She was 35 years old. The tiara passed to the next generation. Grand Duchess Victoria Melita of Hesse, a niece who married Alice's son Ernst, wore it throughout her marriage. The union was deeply unhappy. Queen Victoria had arranged it, and the couple endured it only as long as they had to. When the old queen died in 1901, they divorced almost immediately. Their only child together died young. Victoria Melita eventually remarried and left Hesse behind. The tiara stayed. Then came the darkest chapter. In 1937, Prince Louis of Hesse, grandson of the original Princess Alice, boarded a plane at Darmstadt with his entire family to attend a wedding in London. The aircraft crashed near Ostend in Belgium. Everyone on board was killed, including his wife, Princess Cecile, who was 8 months pregnant, and their 2 young sons. Among the wreckage, the tiara's case was found intact and completely undamaged. From that moment, no one put it on. The cursed diadem is still kept in the headquarters of the foundation of the House of Hesse, and its beauty is not enough to make people forget its terrible legacy. The design itself is magnificent. All diamonds, all brilliance, an extraordinary piece of Victorian craft. But its record is impossible to dismiss. Every woman who wore it lost something: a father, a child, a marriage, a life. The tiara that was built in love became, generation by generation, a ledger of grief. Why would Catherine refuse it? The answer is both strategic and deeply personal. Catherine, the Princess of Wales, has spent over a decade building a public identity defined by stability, as a wife, as a mother, and as the steady, reassuring face of a monarchy that has weathered enormous turbulence in recent years. The Strawberry Leaf Tiara does not represent any of those things. Its history is a masterclass in marital misfortune and premature death. For a woman who is acutely aware of how royal choices are read symbolically by the public, wearing a tiara so visibly linked to broken marriages and family tragedy would send a message no palace communications team could walk back. The visual association alone, Catherine in a tiara worn by women who lost everything, is a risk she will simply never take. Some pieces are too beautiful to be worth it. This is one of them. Here is a tiara that has a very different problem. It is not associated with death or disaster. It is associated with one of the most watched and most joyful moments of Catherine's life. And that, paradoxically, is exactly why she will not wear it again. The Cartier Halo Tiara was created in 1936 by Cartier's London workshop and purchased on November 18, 1936 by the Duke of York as a gift for his wife, Elizabeth. Barely 3 weeks later, Edward VIII announced his abdication and Prince Albert became George VI. The tiara that had been bought for a duchess ended up belonging to a queen. The construction is spectacular. The tiara features a band of 16 graduated scrolls, set with 739 brilliant cut diamonds and 149 baton diamonds. Each scroll is divided by a graduated brilliant, with a larger brilliant crowning each centre. It is made entirely in platinum and set with a total of 888 diamonds. Its estimated value today stands at approximately $1.3 million. Queen Elizabeth II received the tiara from her mother on her 18th birthday but never wore it publicly. It is believed that both the Queen and her mother were not fond of this tiara. Instead, it became a loan piece, passed to Princess Margaret, who wore it famously to her sister's coronation in 1953, and later to Princess Anne, who wore it for her first public tiara appearance at the State Opening of Parliament in 1967. When Anne moved on to other pieces, the halo went back into the vault and was not seen publicly for almost 4 decades. Then came April 29, 2011. When she emerged from that Rolls-Royce Phantom 6 at Westminster Abbey's west door, Catherine Middleton wasn't just wearing a beautiful custom Alexander McQueen dress, she was showcasing a stunning tiara that hadn't been seen in public for almost 40 years. The Halo Tiara's return to public life was one of the most photographed moments of the entire decade. It was also, as it turned out, its last. The tiara hasn't been publicly worn again since Catherine's 2011 bridal moment. Over 14 years have passed. It remains in the vault. The tiara carries an additional shadow. Princess Margaret, its most frequent historical wearer, endured one of the most turbulent lives in modern royal history. Her love affair with Group Captain Peter Townsend was ended by the palace because he was divorced. Her subsequent marriage to Anthony Armstrong-Jones ended in divorce in 1978, the first divorce in the close royal family in over a generation. Her later years were marked by illness, isolation, and profound sadness. She died in 2002 at the age of 71, after suffering a series of strokes. The Halo Tiara was Margaret's companion for some of the last happy years before that sadness took hold. Wearing it now, as a married woman in the middle of an intensely scrutinised royal life, would inevitably invite comparisons between Catherine and the woman who wore it before her. The parallels that commentators and critics would draw are not ones any careful royal would choose to invite. But the deepest reason is simpler than that. The Cartier Halo is Catherine's wedding tiara. It belongs in the public imagination entirely to that one perfect morning in April 2011. Wearing it again, at a state banquet, at a gala, at any ordinary royal occasion, would diminish that association. It would take a moment frozen in collective memory and drag it into the mundane. Catherine appears to understand this. The halo was the right tiara for one day. And that day is over. If the strawberry leaf carries personal tragedy and the Cartier halo carries nostalgic ghosts, the Delhi Durbar tiara carries something even heavier: the full, complicated weight of empire. The tiara was commissioned in 1911 by Queen Mary, consort of King George V, through the royal jeweller Garrard and Company. The occasion was the Delhi Durbar, the grand imperial ceremony held in Delhi to mark the proclamation of King George V as Emperor of India. Queen Mary could not wear her coronation crown. British law prohibited the crown jewels from leaving England, so she commissioned an entirely new tiara for the occasion, paying for it from her own personal funds. The Delhi Durbar tiara is one of the most historically resonant pieces of royal jewellery created in the 20th century. A grand diamond and emerald diadem commissioned for Queen Mary to wear at the Delhi Durbar of 1911. The ceremonial proclamation of King George V as Emperor of India. The tall circlet of platinum and gold featured diamond scrolls topped by 10 cabochon Cambridge emeralds. Those emeralds, known as the Cambridge Emeralds, had been inherited through Queen Mary's grandmother, the Duchess of Cambridge. They were extraordinary stones, deep green and cabochon cut, representing some of the finest emeralds in the royal collection. At its most spectacular, the tiara incorporated two of the largest polished diamonds in the British Royal Collection. The Cullinan III, a pendeloque cut stone of 94.4 carats, and the Cullinan IV, a cushion cut stone of 63.6 carats, suspended as pendant drops. With both the Cambridge emeralds and the Cullinan diamonds in place simultaneously, this tiara was, by any measure, one of the most valuable pieces of jewellery ever assembled in modern royal history. In 1922, the Cambridge emeralds were permanently removed from the Delhi Durbar tiara and were later converted to mounts, which could be used on the Vladimir tiara. Then, in 1923, the tiara was further altered so that the Cullinan III and the IV could be temporarily added. The piece has been modified and reconfigured multiple times, a testament to how Queen Mary treated her collection as a flexible, personal treasury rather than a fixed archive. Queen Mary wore the Delhi Durbar tiara through the 1920s and 30s for a series of portraits, including ones in which the Cullinan, the third and fourth diamonds were attached to the central element, as well as for the British State Banquet at the Royal Palace of Brussels in 1922 and a gala performance at Covent Garden during the French state visit in 1939. After Queen Mary's death in 1953, the tiara is believed to have remained in Queen Elizabeth II's possession, but was not publicly worn for the rest of her long reign. Why would Catherine refuse it? 3 reasons, and each one is decisive. First, diplomacy. This tiara was built to celebrate a British king proclaiming himself Emperor over India. India gained independence in 1947. Today, it is a significant Commonwealth member, and a relationship the modern monarchy works carefully to protect. Wearing it would be a diplomatic incident, not a fashion choice. Second, scale. The Delhi Durbar is a full-circle, tall, imposing, built for an era of imperial display Catherine has spent her career moving away from. She favours approachability alongside authority. This tiara projects an empire. The palace has spent decades leaving that image behind. Third, legacy. Queen Mary was notorious for acquiring jewels with a determination that occasionally crossed into impropriety, royal biographers have documented. Aligning herself with that legacy is something a Princess of Wales built on warmth, modernity, and quiet service will simply never do. 3 tiaras, 3 different kinds of history, and one Princess of Wales who has looked at all of them and said, "Not yet." Perhaps not ever. The Royal Vault is full of extraordinary jewels, but knowing which ones to leave in the dark is its own kind of power. If this video gave you something new to think about, drop your thoughts in the comments below. Which of the 3 tiaras surprised you most? And which piece do you think Catherine should wear next? If you want to go deeper into the hidden history of royal jewellery, the power moves, the bypasses, the pieces that carry stories most people never hear, hit subscribe right now and ring the notification bell. We're here every week. Thank you for watching. See you in the next one.